the brown paper bag that holds history and heritage. I was able to meet and visit with my dad and my stepmom in Mississippi. And I will say that I think it's good to hear and learn about the people that gave you life. I mean, you learn their struggles, their obstacles, their successes. You learn their most memorable moments. You also learn their life-changing events that happened in their lives. And in so many ways, I found out that my dad and we have a lot more in common. I mean, I think my dad has just as many books, notebooks, printouts, and writings just as much as I have. Like, really? Is that where I get it from? So, I enjoyed my dad taking me on a drive to talk about his life. What you're seeing here is Tunica, Mississippi, which was known as, or is, I don't know if it still is, known as Sugar Ditch Alley. And it was also known as being the poorest town in the poorest country in the United States. Now, although my dad was born here in Tunica, he was not raised there. When he was a baby, his mother, my grandmother, Lizzie, decided to move to West Memphis, Arkansas. So my dad has no memory of Tunica, Mississippi, but he does have memory in Arkansas. So he lived in Arkansas until he became an adult, and then he relocated to St. Louis, Missouri, and there is where he met my mom, and bam! I was born. Yeah. Anyways, where my dad grew up at, not much is left to see. Many of the buildings and the homes and the establishments vanished into the past. However, there were a couple structures remaining, and surprisingly, my dad's childhood home was still standing. Vacant, but standing. Wow. And my aunt, Miss Ernestine, came along.
It's concrete and everything. Now I ain't got nothing but trees and wood.
What kind of student was you, Auntie? You was a good girl?
Yeah, I was a good girl. Every time the teacher go out the room, she asked me to sit at the desk and take names who talk.
Not every time. You did one time too many. You took my name.
You was talking?
That makes sense though, Daddy.
I wasn't talking.
Yes, you was.
You was rapping, remember?
If I was talking, you were supposed to turn my name in.
She said take names of who talking while I'm out the room. I said yes, ma'am. And you was talking. I don't know who you was talking to.
It doesn't matter. I was your brother. You were supposed to take my name.
Like I said, surprisingly, my dad's childhood home still stands today. Vacant, but it's standing. Wow.
No, the school was tore down. That's just for
Shawnee High School?
Mm-hmm.
You went there 12th grade year?
Look at that. Tired. That look like long.
The white folks let you go to their school?
Yeah, yeah, back then they integrated the school back
How
then.
did that go?
It went all right. I didn't hear a nigga call in my classroom once, and they wasn't talking to me. They were talking to each other. They were talking to one boy. They were talking to him. He wasn't Bennett, but they were talking about getting married. Talking about you gonna marry somebody, you gonna marry an Indian, a Chinese, a nigga.
Oh.
Then everybody in the classroom will turn around and look at me. I say, hey, what you looking at me? I ain't no nigga. This is Jordan. This is the town we would come to.
Sure would.
And this used to be a bus station.
Mm-hmm.
Right there on that corner. Dairy Queen used to be right there about where that house is. That used to be a Dairy Queen. We used to
Public birthday stays back over there somewhere.
And And this used to be that store is still there.
Mm-hmm. Police station down the hill, ain't it, brother?
No, the police station was right there on the corner, but ain't
That's what I'm
down.
talking about.
And the bank used to be right. Yeah, the bank used to be right
here.
And we'll go across the railroad track over there to the Rocket 88 and stuff.
Right. And the jailhouse used to be right there where that door.
The jailhouse?
Yeah, it used to be right there.
Where that truck city.
Where that building there, that used to be the jailhouse.
Sure did.
You didn't want to go there.
Well, when with the police, he wasn't that bad. He just didn't want them to call in the police from Terrell and Marion, because they didn't treat niggas right.
Mm-hmm.
They beat you upside the head. That's Miss Whitaker.
Who was Miss Whitaker?
My first grade teacher.
Mm-hmm.
That was her house.
Who in it now?
Ray,
Who was Ray? Her son?
her nephew.
Her nephew.
Yeah.
First grade teacher. I remember you took me to see your math teacher.
Yeah, Joe Brown. Yeah, that's Brown.
Mm-hmm.
He deceased now.
Oh, look at that little shack. That's a juke joint. Where the juke joint was at, Daddy?
It was back there. I said, this is the church where I got baptized at.
And what's the name of the church again?
Missionary Baptist Church.
You was how old?
Oh, from the age of 7 till I left home. I was 19.
Wow.
I got baptized. I was a junior deacon at this church. Right
Junior deacon.
Me and Roger Merritt and Tommy Brooks.
Something L. Terry Clark.
Kelly. I think it's Kelly.
Let's say Terry.
Terry. Okay. Reverend.
Oh, I saw bugs.
Oh, you did like that? But I can't really read that.
Interesting.
That's the little church.
You is a country boy.
And that's the cemetery that Ernest and them used to walk by. When we go by, they would tell me, you know, that's what scared me. I used to run. They used to run off and leave me. We passed by that cemetery because at night, they were talking about them people, they gonna get you into the cemetery. And they would run off and leave me. That's where I learned how to start praying. Walking down this road.
To pass that cemetery so they wouldn't get you.
I learned how to pray. That's for sure. God took the fear away from me walking down this road. That's it. But this dog used to chase us. It's the way I chopped it. I wasn't cutting the chop it. I was cutting the weeds down that were taller than the cat, and that's all I was doing. But I did that by myself.
In 3 days, chop 50 acres.
Yeah.
Of corn or weeds.
We stayed back.
Right here.
Mm-hmm.
Back here.
This was the road. This is where I used to walk. That's 3.5 miles from where we started it. And that's the road. The house used to be well, this is quite a way because it was muddy. Walked in the mud. And that's why I killed Philip Dog right over there.
As I stated earlier, not many structures still remain, but hearing the stories about his childhood was priceless. So after our road trip in Arkansas, we both continued to work on that family tree for 2 more days until I got a headache and I needed a break. But we were able to trace my third great-grandparents back to the 1830s. And according to the census report at that time, they were labeled as slaves.